Hello, I'm Robert Reich. You've probably heard a lot about something called the public option for healthcare reform, but many Americans don't feel they know exactly what it is. Imagine you live in a city like, say, Cleveland. Right now, in most of the city, you can choose from only a few plans. With the public option, you'd be able to choose between these plans and the public option. That's it. It's that simple. If the public option costs too much or doesn't provide good service, you stay with your private plan. And the public plan would not be subsidized by the government or have the government set the rules for anyone. If they aren't the best, they lose. That's not very scary or complicated at all, is it? The public option works because it would have the scale and authority to negotiate lower prices from healthcare providers. This would push the private insurers to get the same deals. The public option has to be big and national to do that. So don't be fooled by the idea of so-called cooperatives. They'd be too small and scattered to have the scale and bargaining leverage of a public option, and would therefore be designed to fail. Not surprisingly, there are powerful groups with a huge self-interest in seeing this reform fail. They are drug companies, insurance companies, and political operatives who are more concerned about beating the Democrats in a political fight than fixing a broken system. They're betting if they confuse and scare you enough about change, you'll decide to stay with a flawed system that everyone hates and costs too much. Look, it's the same old game. They want to scare you, and they have plenty of money and plenty of political partisans to do their dirty work. But they shouldn't be allowed to do this anymore, and you should have the right to choose a public insurance option if you want it. So what can you do right now? I've served in Washington, and I know that unless you make a hell of a racket, the for-profit insurers and drug companies, along with their platoons of Washington lobbyists and lawyers, are going to win this thing. So you need to write, phone, and email the president and your representatives in Congress. But that's not all. You also need to mobilize and energize your friends and neighbors to join you. And get your friends and relatives in places like Montana, New Mexico, North Dakota, Maine, and Wyoming to do the same. Make your voices heard. This is your last chance. In a few weeks, this will all be history. And while you're at it, you might want to send along a copy of this video, too.